Everyone, my name is Majuher Cordero Martos. I'm studying Bachelor of Science in Education. In this video, I prepared some survey questions for teachers. With this survey, we will learn and understand more about the life of being a teacher. This video will be served as my course project on the subject, the teacher and community, school culture, and organizational leadership. I will read the question and answer of each teachers, and at the end of the video, I will give my conclusion. First teacher is Mr. Toribio D. Martin Jr. He is 53 years old. He is teaching at City of Batac National High School, Payao Campus. The subject he handled is Social Studies. He is 27 years in teaching. Question: what is an ideal teacher? Answer: an ideal teacher is the one who knows his or her basic function, which is to teach the subjects handled. He or she is teachable because no one is masters to everything. Question: what is your teaching philosophy? Answer: the philosophy of student-centered in discussing the lesson, where the students do more in explaining the lessons rather than the teacher. The teacher just serves as the facilitator in the class. Question: what do you feel are the biggest challenges facing today's education system? Answer: the new normal in teaching the lesson to the learners, wherein no face-to-face in teaching them. The modular platform is a very taskful both to learners and the teachers. Just like weekly preparation in printing the modules to be answered by the learners, while the learners is a big task for them in answering it, especially it is a self-study, and have limited resources to widen their knowledge in understanding their lessons. Question: what are your suggestions in order to solve these problems? Answer: home teaching of subject teachers will be one of the solutions in teaching the learners, especially to the remote areas, where weak to no signal of internet connection. Capacitate the parents by teaching them about the different activities in the modules so that they can guide and teach their children. Question: what message can you give to those who aspire to be a teacher in the future? Answer: behind every successful person is a teacher. Yes, doctors, engineers, nurses, and other different professions, they are all handled by the teachers, or simply teachers made them. No professionals finish their chosen courses without the teachers to teach them. Our next teacher is Mrs. Meli Repoglio. She is 50 years old. She is teaching at Catalina Acosta Memorial Elementary School. She handled elementary subjects. She is 26 years in teaching. Question: what is an ideal teacher? Answer: an ideal teacher is someone who's not just teaching academically, but teaching with love so that the students will also live learning and studying. Question: what is your teaching philosophy? Answer: my teaching philosophy is I believe that inside the classroom, there are no superiors or authorities. Students and teachers are just equal in sharing knowledge, listening, and correcting each other. Question: what do you feel are the biggest challenges facing today's education system? Answer: the biggest challenges I know that is currently happening in our education system is our students cannot experience or feel what it feels like doing things inside a real school. Questions are limited, and some of the students are easily distracted depends on their studying location. Question: what are your suggestions in order to solve these problems? I suggest to set our education system into normal now. Face-to-face classes are more effective than the current curriculum. Question: what message can you give to those who aspire to be a teacher in the future? A message for them is they should teach not because of money or not because they are obligated. They should teach from the heart and think that because of their patience and sharing of knowledge, a dreamer is getting closer to his dreams because of the teaching she is giving. Our next teacher is Mrs. Mary Genevieve Aspili Agloco. She is 35 years old. She is teaching at Payao Elementary School. She handled all elementary subjects. She is 11 years in teaching. Question: what is an ideal teacher? Answer: an ideal teacher should be passionate about education, especially molding the young minds. She must focus on the holistic development of a learner. She must also show concern not only to the intelligent learners, but also to those slow learners who need more attention and help. Question: what is your teaching philosophy? Answer: my teaching method is based on the notion that pupils' minds are not hollow shells waiting to be filled. Each of them brings their own unique brand of genius to my classroom, and my primary responsibility is to find and empower that ability. Question: what do you feel are the biggest challenges facing today's education system? Answer: in my opinion, the biggest challenges that our education system are facing today is the new generation learners. They are showing very short span attention during teaching learning process and low retention. This is maybe because of the new technologies, social media, and online games. Questions: what are your suggestions in order to solve these problems? Answer: teachers should just and do our best to teach these millennial learners to be sure that they are going the right track to become successful and practical individual. Teachers should not stop to keep on learning new teaching strategies by attending webinars or seminars for professional growth. Question: what message can you give to those who aspire to be a teacher in the future? Answer: to those who aspire to be in the teaching profession, always be ready to all the challenges in teaching young minds. It is in our hands how to let them know the true learnings of mind and in life. Be ready to inspire and challenge the children to be at their best, not only to become an educated, but also to become a learned individual. Our next teacher is Mrs. Vanessa Lynne Esricha. She is 38 years old. She is teaching at VF Corcuera Elementary School. She handled all elementary subjects. She is 9 years in her profession. Question: what is an ideal teacher? Answer: an ideal teacher is not just a teacher to his or her students. He or she can be a friend, a guide, an advisor, a second parent. Question: what is your teaching philosophy? Answer: a true teacher not only teaches from textbook, but more importantly, it should be by heart. Question: what do you feel are the biggest challenges facing today's education system? Answer: poverty and lack of motivation and support to students. Question: what are your suggestions in order to solve these problems? Answer: education. Parents play a very important role in their children's life. If they are educated enough to motivate and educate their young child, these kids might show some potential to be a better student and hopefully be a good citizen. Question: what message can you give to those who aspire to be a teacher in the future? Answer: being a teacher is not easy, especially in Philippines. But when you do teach by heart, you will leave a mark of hope and inspiration to every child you have taught. And that little kindness will ripple continuously, and eventually it will reflect back to you in one way or another. Our next teacher is Mrs. Almera B. Borlagdan. She is 38 years old. She is teaching at Mariroc Elementary School. She handled all elementary subjects. She is 16 years in her profession. Question: what is an ideal teacher? Answer: ideal teacher teaches from the heart and is not selfish. She is willing to share and impart knowledge to the learners and patiently wait for them to learn. Question: what is your teaching philosophy? Answer: teaching is not just a profession, but also a mission. Question: what do you feel are the biggest challenges facing today's education system? Answer: the biggest challenge today is establishing discipline among the learners. It is easy to teach, but we cannot force them to follow our rules. since they feel that they are entitled to liberty and can learn in their own way. What are your suggestions in order to solve these problems? I suggest that parents should not tolerate the wrongdoings of their children. Discipline must start at home. What message can you give to those who aspire to be a teacher in the future? Be patient, and the love for children must come first. Our next teacher is Mrs. Mylene B. Swillen. She is 37 years old. She is 14 years in her profession. Question: what is an ideal teacher? Answer: an ideal teacher is a role model. Question: what is your teaching philosophy? Answer: teach from the heart. Question: what do you feel are the biggest challenges facing today's education system? Answer: unpreparedness of pupils on the implementation of limited face-to-face education. Question: what are your suggestions in order to solve these problems? Answer: positive communication and collaboration between parents and teachers to help bridge the learning gaps of their children. Question: what message can you give to those who aspire to be a teacher in the future? Answer: teach with the heart, because passionate educators lead with their hearts. Our next teacher is Mrs. Roxanne E. Salcedo. She is 37 years old. She is teaching at Park Lane Elementary School. She handled all elementary subjects. She is 14 years in her profession. Question: what is an ideal teacher? Answer: an ideal teacher is a flexible teacher. She or he easy to adjust and adapt the challenges that he or she may encounter. Question: what is your teaching philosophy? Answer: to teach my learners not only academically but also good values. Question: what do you feel are the biggest challenges facing today's education system? Answer: I feel sad that most of the Filipino families struggle financially for education, especially now the time of pandemic. Question: what are your suggestions in order to solve these problems? Answer: government should secure enough budget for education so that every student must be able to continue their studies in any way possible. Question: what message can you give to those who aspire to be a teacher in the future? Answer: just learn to be more patient and resilient. Just relax and make it easy. Be more passionate in teaching. Mr. Manuel R. Combaleser is our last teacher. He is teaching at AMA Computer Learning Center, Hong Kong. The subject he handled are math, physics, and programming. He is 5 years in teaching. Question: what is an ideal teacher? Answer: the ideal teacher for me is someone who has the following: passion for teaching, love for students, a magnetic personality, strong rapport with students, effective discipline skills, good classroom management skills, teaching style, strong command over subject matter, clear objectives for every lesson, good communication skills. Question: what is your teaching philosophy? Answer: I am to bring an open mind, a positive attitude, and a high expectation to the classroom each day. I believe that I owe it to my students as well as the community to bring consistency, diligence, and warmth to my job in the hope that I can ultimately inspire and encourage such traits in the students as well. Question: what do you feel are the biggest challenges facing today's education system? Answer: the biggest challenge is the COVID-19. The lockdown in response to COVID-19 have interrupted conventional schooling with nationwide school closure in most countries. While the educational community have made concerted efforts to maintain learning continuity during this period, children and students have had to rely on their own resources to continue learning remotely through the internet, television, or radio. Teachers also had to adapt to new pedagogical concepts and modes of delivery of teaching, for which they may not have been trained. In particular, learners in the most marginalized group who didn't have access to digital learning resources or lack the resilience and engagement to learn on their own are at risk of falling behind. Question: What are your suggestions in order to solve these problems? Answer. Teacher must learn to adapt to the changes in the method of teaching and use all means to impart skills and knowledge to students in a class conference setup. Question. What message can you give to those who aspire to be a teacher in the future? Answer. Remember that your training does not end when you begin your field experience or student teaching. It is only beginning and will continue every day that you teach. A good teacher must be a good learner first and foremost. And by teaching, you learn to teach. There isn't any other option. As a result, you must approach your field experience and student teaching with both humility and confidence. Humility because you do not yet know everything there is to know about teaching and learning, and confidence because you know more than you think you do. Your efforts are immense and long-lasting, and your pupils will remember you long after you have assisted them in taking the next step in their lives. So be yourself and give it your all. Reflection. Being very knowledgeable in your field of study is also a crucial stepping stone towards a successful teaching career. It's true that even the most successful teachers don't know everything, but the more you know, the easier it will be to teach your students and to offer them prompt answer to their questions. You can also do more with technology, such as doing online lessons and creating exciting technology-based activities. Learning never stops, and that's why, as a teacher, you need to feed your mind with as much information as it can take in. Remember that students always prefer consulting teachers who are known to possess in-depth knowledge about a specific field. Knowledge indicates authenticity. Conclusion. Teacher is one of the most important professions in our society. Behind every successful professional was made by a teacher. Teachers should teach with passion and by heart, because teaching is not only a profession but also a mission.